The next headline that I have for you, reinforces what I said about it doesn't really matter where you go. You're going to run into problems. So you're going to have already established everything you're going to need for your survival wherever it is that you want to go, if you plan on fleeing the United States. This next headline comes from endoftheamericandream.com. Famine is knocking on the door. Unless there is some sort of unforeseen miracle, millions of people could literally starve to death in 2021. We are facing a global food crisis that is unlike anything we have ever seen before in modern times. And 2021 is going to be the year when it starts to become extremely painful all over the globe. But don't take my word for it. David Beasley is the head of the UN World Food Program. And so he is in a better position to assess the global hunger crisis than any of us. According to Beasley, 2021, quote, is literally going to be catastrophic, end quote. And his organization is facing, quote, the worst humanitarian crisis year since the beginning of the United Nations 75 years ago. And we're not going to be able to fund everything. So we have to prioritize. As I say, the iceberg is in front of the Titanic, end quote. All right, so that just proves my point even more, okay? And if we're getting all these warnings from the mainstream media, from the alternative media, from the U.S. government, from the UN, from governments all throughout Europe and, Asia and everywhere else, warning that they're going to suffer shortages of food, then you have to be proactive and you have to make sure that you have enough to feed your family for a very long time. And not only that, for you to produce your own food, as I talked about it earlier. So now the question really becomes, now that they're going to send us this $600 that they're talking about is going to turn into $2,000 because, today the House did pass the bill saying that they agree into increasing the amount from $600 to $2,000. So since the House of Representatives passed it, now they send it to the Senate, but everybody's talking about that it's going to be dead on arrival. So you can pretty much kiss the other $1,800 goodbye. Or no, not $1,800, I'm sorry. The other $1,400 goodbye. But even if they did, all right, let's say there was a miracle and they agreed and they did send American people the $2,000 per adult and the $600 per child, which could be, a potential of $5,200, as Trump said, you really have to think about what are you going to do with that money. If it's too late for you to even pay bills, then I would say don't even spend it on that, because if you're already going to be kicked out, you're so far behind on power and everything, and possibly you're already living with a family member, then of course, you help them out because they're helping you out. But if you are able to get a job, if you already have your job or you're having a job right now, you were never really bothered by the entire lockdown and everything, if you were that blessed, then this money that they're sending out, you should really put it towards preparedness, because that money was not even supposed to be in your pocket anyways. It just magically appears there. So what you should do right now is take advantage of it. So you can do several things with the $600, and there's a lot of things you can do with the $2,000. All right, but right now, what I wrote down, because that was pretty much the realistic number that they're going to be sending, because now that Trump signed it, it's going to be something that they're going to do. They said by the end of this week, we're going to go with the $600, and these things that I'm going to be telling you is just ideas that you can actually do. Okay. You have to look at what you need right now and see where you're going to put that money, but it has to go towards preparedness. You have to position yourself, since we're looking like we're going to look like Venezuela here in the next few months, maybe in the next few years, then you have to do things now so you can prepare yourself for then, all right? Because $600 worth of food, which is rice and other things, then it's going to be really easy for you to store it. You're going to have all the funding that you're going to need for you to get that food, for you to get the buckets, and for you to get the Mylar bags, for you to get everything you're going to need to store that food.
The Man-Made Survival Show.